Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This evening, we're going to get started with the hearings. It's Wednesday, March 24th, 2021, and it's 5:30. My name is William Reichman. I'm the Special Magistrate. The first thing we do after we call this evening business to order is to identify ourselves so that everyone that is a case this evening understands who everyone is. And then we'll stand and pledge to the flag. So I'll start out. And my name is, as I said, William Reichman. I'm an attorney. And I've been an attorney for over almost 40 years now, long time. And I've been working for the City of Deltona for their city commission in this capacity for several years now. And my job is just to make sure that if there's a code violation, what's the right way to handle it. So with that brief introduction, let me go around the room and let everyone else identify themselves, and then we'll get started.
My name is Mark Gibson, Enforcement Services Supervisor.
Angela Meyer, Hearing Clerk.
Thank you, everybody. If I could ask everyone now if we could stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So let me tell you a little bit about tonight. We have 6 or 7 cases. A lot have been withdrawn or continued, and I'll announce those in a second. We do this on a first come, first serve. That's probably not the most polite way of saying it, but that's if when you got here this evening and you signed in, we'll call your case first. And we'll get through this pretty quickly. We're pretty straightforward about this. The way this works is that there's really two different parties to each hearing. One is the city, because it's their position. They contend that there's been a code violation. And that's fine. They can contend that, but I want to hear from all the folks and hear what they have to say about whether or not there is a code violation or not. So before we get started, I'll ask everyone to be sworn in, because this is kind of like a trial, kind of like a judicial matter, and I want to make sure that I'm hearing the truth. And I want everyone that's in here today to make sure they're confident and comfortable that the decision that comes out of tonight's hearings are based upon the real evidence and the truth. What I do is I hear from the city first, because they're the ones that have the burden of proof, to prove to me that there is sufficient evidence to believe that there is a code violation. And then they'll be done, and then I'll call the property owner or whoever's here on behalf of that particular property to come and tell me what they want me to hear. And then I'll make a decision tonight, so everybody will know what's going to happen. I'll announce it tonight, and we'll write it up, and we'll send it out to the property owner, whoever's here tonight as well, so that you'll know exactly what's happening. And I try to be very, very clear about what I heard, what I believe, and what my ruling will be. So hopefully there'll be no misunderstanding about what comes as a result of this evening. I think it's important for everyone to understand that I haven't talked with anybody about any of these cases. I haven't made up my mind about any of this. I haven't spoken with any of the folks that identified themselves. And for the record, I haven't spoken with anybody that's sitting out here. So when I hear something, I'll be hearing it for the very first time this evening. And I will make my decisions based upon just what I hear this evening. So I haven't gone out and looked at the properties. I haven't heard anything. I haven't talked to any neighbors. I don't come into this with any assumptions made. So just an administrative matter, I'm going to approve the agenda and the minutes, specifically the minutes of the meeting of February 24th. And we have a lot of cases that have been withdrawn or continued. I think we caught everybody who came in that may have had a case that was withdrawn. I'm going to go through it real fast. So if I call your case, that means that you can go home. So you hope that I'm going to call your case, but I don't think I'm going to. So it's DEL 21017. This is 2324 Brimhall Court. That case was withdrawn. 1008 Kenmore Street, DEL 2120, withdrawn. 407 Deltona Boulevard, that case was withdrawn. 1074 Fort Smith Boulevard, that case was continued. 2590 Adelia Boulevard, withdrawn. 1309 Buccaneer Avenue, withdrawn. 1008 Kenmore Street, withdrawn. I'm sorry, continued. 910 Crawford Street, continued. There were 2 cases involving that property. 941 Shorecrest Avenue, continued. And then another case in the same property, withdrawn. 941 Shorecrest, continued. 549 Nardella Drive, continued. 1325 Walton Avenue, withdrawn. And lastly, a repeat case, VEH 20, that was 227 Abbeville Street, that was withdrawn. So we do have, I believe, 6 cases here this evening. And again, we're going to proceed. I'm going to ask at this time if anyone is here tonight, that includes the officers, who will be wanting me to hear what you have to say and providing testimony. I'm going to need you to stand and raise your right hand, and we will swear you in so that we all know that we're telling the truth. Do you tonight swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. So like I said, I'll call your case. We'll go with the city's representatives first, and then when you come forward, we'll call your case. If you could come to that spot right there, that podium, and give me your name and your address so that we all know who, that you're here for this property, and we have the record to identify you. Okay, the first case is DEL 21004, property address 1870 Providence Boulevard, Suite DH. And that involves the property owner, Gabriel, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this, Yocosta Fernandez. Hopefully I got that right. And that involves some permit issues. Is the city ready to proceed? I can.
Now it's on. Okay, my name's Dennis Muse. I'm employed by the City of Deltona as an enforcement service officer, and my credentials are involved with the city. This is case number DEL 21-004, City of Deltona versus Gabriel M. and Yocosta Fernandez. Location address 1870 Providence Boulevard, Deltona, Florida 32725. Parcel ID number is 813015160080. Violation of the City of Deltona Ordinance, Section 18-3, adopting the latest edition of the Florida Building Code, Section 105.1, which states that any owner or authorized agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or to erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system, the installation of which is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be done, shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit or permits. In this particular case, a new permit is required for permit number 15-01537, since the original permit has expired without passing the final inspections for fire in building. Statutory requirements: a notice of hearing was sent certified mail 10 days prior to the hearing date, and the certified mail receipt was returned signed. The notice was also hand-delivered to the store manager, Alex Toribio. In addition, the notice of hearing was also posted at City Hall at least 10 days prior to this hearing. All the evidence in this case have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the Code Board Clerk. I certify any and all photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the day they were taken. I had everything written down here what I was going to say, but I want to start out with, if you want to look at, if if I get to it. Case history, Exhibit F, everything that's highlighted. This has been an ongoing issue for years of permits being obtained and not being followed through, okay? Now, as of this date, they have turned in all the paperwork, as far as I know, everything is complete as far as being turned in for a new permit. It has not been reviewed yet. At this point here, our hands are tied as far as what we want to do. And as far as that goes, we'll leave it up to you as far as how much time you want to give. I have a Mr. Reyes here who wants to speak as far as on behalf of the grocery store.
Okay, I need to ask a couple questions. This is, you said it's ongoing, so there was some work that was done at this property that required a permit.
Yes, sir.
The property owner or the contractor applied for a permit,
Yes, sir.
but that permit expired before there could be a final inspection.
Yes, sir.
Has the work been completed?
To our, well, at this point here, no. As far as the old permit goes, no. They get to the very end, and things were never finished out as far as the fire inspection. Fire inspection has to be done first
Okay,
before the
so,
building can be done.
Let me interrupt, I apologize. So what I'm hearing is that the root of the problem here is there hasn't been a fire inspection.
Not a final, no.
Okay. So what would this property owner have to do to come into compliance with the City of Deltona's code?
Well, being this one was from 6 years ago, the original permit, they had to come in and bring in new plans because of changes in the building codes, okay? So that's what they have done as of yesterday and today, bring in the information that they need. As far as
So
we know,
if-
is what they brought in, and nothing has been over yet as far as the review goes.
So wait a minute, okay, hang on a second. And I asked you a question. The question was, what did this property owner have to do to come into compliance with the City of Deltona Code? And I thought I just heard you say that they need to bring in some documents, and they have done so.
They have done so.
So are they in violation?
I say they're still in violation until they get the final, until they get the new permit issued. Okay, they're in violation. They have not gotten the violation, or the permit issued to them yet, because it has to go through the review process first.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
They've applied, but for
They've applied.
compliance, the permit has to be issued.
Yes,
Okay. Just so this property owner, I want to make sure we're all clear. This property owner, they've done what they need to do to get the information to this building department of the City of Deltona.
yes, sir.
And so now the burden is on the City of Deltona's building department to do something.
At this point, yes.
And if that happens, how much time are we looking at? Because I don't want to give a deadline on a property owner when the property owner doesn't have any control over the deadline.
Yes, sir. At this point, I spoke to the fire inspector, Lee Gressvenner. She had stated she would need at least a month, and hopefully not that long. I didn't get a chance to talk to the building official, Carl Lynch. He was not here at the time. So I would say at least a month.
All right. Is there anyone here to represent the property address 1870 Providence Boulevard, Suite DH, property owner listed as Gabriel and Yocasta Fernandez? If you could come forward, tell me your name and your address and your relationship to the owners, please.
Well, Your Honor, so my name is Alvaro Reyes. I work for the contractor on behalf of the tenant for Unido Supermarket on 1870 Providence Boulevard.
I'm sorry, sir. It's these masks. I'm having a real hard time hearing you. If you could get a little closer to the
sorry.
mic.
So my name is Alvaro Reyes. I work for the contractor on behalf of the tenant, which is Unido Supermarket. Just wanted to echo what Mr. Muse said. Yeah, we already submitted the plans. I just wanted to know, give a couple weeks for the building department to issue the permit. That's what we're waiting for at the moment.
All right. So what I'm hearing tonight, I want to make sure we're both on the same page, we're on the same page, is that this gentleman, on behalf of the contractor, has done what he needs to do. That's not the end of it. City is going to look at it, make sure everything's there. It's going to take about a month or longer. And then what happens if is there something could go wrong where the burden is back on this gentleman to do?
Once they look at the plans, as they look at the plans, and fire will have to look at it, and so will the building official. Once they look at them and they sign off on them, now they could run into something where something might be missing, okay? And they will contact the contractor, and the contractor will have to make adjustments and then bring that in and get it okayed. Once that is all done with fire, then it goes to building. Building will have already started looking at it, the plans. Once he is satisfied, he'll sign off on it. But he has to wait for fire to get done with it before he can go through it and sign off on it also, and before it can be issued.
Okay. At that point in time, the code would be in compliance.
Once it's issued, I'm satisfied.
All right. All right. Is there a problem? You have any issues with what the officer has described as what his role is, what your role is?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to find that the property work has been done without a permit. Permit expired.
The work was already done during the permit. We just didn't finish.
But expired without a final inspection?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so we're going to get that fixed.
Correct.
But you have submitted paperwork towards that.
Correct.
And what I've heard that it's going to take maybe 30 days, maybe longer. So I'm going to find that 60 days for compliance, because I don't want to get these folks in trouble for something that they don't have control over.
Yes, sir.
All right? So I'm going to say 60 days for compliance or a fine of $25 per day. So that means, if you would, please, sir, work with Officer Muse to make sure that, nag him to make sure that you know where it is in this process.
Okay, perfect.
Is that okay?
Yes, it is. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
All right.
Good.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the next case is DEL 21042, property address 945 Prescott Boulevard, property owner listed as Emmanuel Andre and Melissa D. Cochran. And the listed violation is improper parking. Officer Quinones.
Good evening, sir. My name is Marian Quinones. I'm employed with the City of Deltona as an enforcement officer. This is in reference to case number DEL 21042, City of Deltona versus Emmanuel Andre and Melissa Cochran. The property address is 945 Prescott Boulevard, Deltona, Florida. Parcel ID is 813-041-690-180. This is a violation of the City of Deltona Ordinance Section 66-19(3), which states boats, trailers, recreational vehicles should not be parked or stored either within a public right-of-way or within the portion of the lot line across the full width of the lot between the front line, lot line, and the frontmost part of the principal structure. All statutory requirements for this notification of this hearing have been met. Notice of hearing and notice of violation were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed with the property appraiser's records and were posted on the property 10 days prior to the hearing. All evidence in this case includes the photographs have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the code board clerk. I certify and all photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the day they were taken. So this violation has actually been an ongoing issue for quite some time. We've been out there several times informing the property owner that he cannot park his trailer in the right-of-way for any length of time. We've posted parking tickets. He's received prior notices of violations, verbal warnings, and he just continues to do it. I was out there this afternoon, and the truck and trailer is still in the right-of-way. So I think the property owner is here today. Maybe they can explain a little bit more, but like I said, it's just an ongoing issue. I do have records, if you want to see them, of all the history, at least since 2020.
Thank you. Is someone here for 945 Prescott Boulevard, please? If you could give me your names, please, and your addresses, and tell me what you want me to hear.
Emmanuel Cochran, 945 Prescott Boulevard.
Okay.
That's my wife, Melissa Cochran.
Melissa Cochran.
Folks, I'm sorry.
Melissa Cochran.
Thank you.
I'm his
I'm
wife.
not trying to be difficult. It's hard to hear, that's all. So tell me where we are.
The trailer, I have receipt today of payment to sell the trailer. It's been picked up today. It's not in my yard at all. I have pictures of the trailer being towed out of my yard.
Okay.
So it's gone. As far as parking issues, yes, we do have history because on multiple occasions, the officer in question, even after talking to her supervisor of him showing me where he wanted me to park the trailer at a neighbor's house, still would come out there, and I had to fight her, having to tell her that, hey, your boss told me to park here. So I'm a small business owner, and I'm never home.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again, sir?
I'm a small business owner. I own my own business. I work for the city and county. I put in all the traffic lights in Volusia County and Central Florida.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gone all the time. I'm home for a maximum of 3 to 4 hours at a time. And I was parking it at my mother-in-law's house, which allowed me the access to park on the edge of the house until she just sold her house, and then the trailer busted. So I had it towed to my house in order to figure out my next move, and then I got this notice.
Yes, sir.
I was already in the process of selling it.
Okay.
And now that it's sold, I'm in compliance and
That sounds right.
ready to wash this scenario from me. So.
Okay. Well, and that's fine. I mean, we've got a code here that is pretty clear, and you're not supposed to park this vehicle the way you did.
Can I say one thing real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard for me. I understand that. Completely understand the code and rules, and I understand her route. I've taken pictures of 3 to 4 same type of truck trailer setup. The guy even had his yard mulched into where he parks it normally.
Yes, sir.
And it's been parked there for 3 years since I moved to my house. And I find it ironic that the same route that she takes special time to want to come by mine, but this same 4 truck and trailers have been there for 4 years. So if they're not moving or anything's changing, why does it seem like you make special trips to go out of your way to see us? Like that to me, if they're on the same route, you should be doing the same thing to them, and she's not. I think personally she got upset because the last time we did this, I talked to her boss, and then she couldn't do anything. And I think personally that upset her, and here we are again.
Well, let me respond this way. For me, it's not a matter of someone's right or someone's wrong. I'm not really allowed to get into the personal parts of this.
Fair.
I'm supposed to look at this real neutrally. What's the code? What are the facts?
Yep.
That sort of thing. So I will say this. So I hear many, many times, well, why are you picking on me? There's other people. And I will tell you that sometimes it seems that way. But it's a big city, and I do this for other cities as well. And you'd be surprised how many times the other similar violations are in the process as well. Now, I can't tell you, sir, you gave me some examples. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't talked to anybody about any of these cases. So I don't know, if there are other examples that are out there. I will tell you this, the code enforcement staff is legally obligated to respond to any complaints that it receives and investigate. And I'm sure they'll do that if they receive complaints from anybody about this. But I do want to make sure that we handle your case tonight fairly. And so what I've heard is that you recognize what the code says and that you have taken steps to gain compliance.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing for me tonight, okay, and which I appreciate. So what I'm going to find, based upon what I've heard from you, sir, this evening, and from the city, is that you are effectively in compliance.
Yes.
So the way that I enter an order accordingly is to find that just to make sure, is that you have 5 more days to come in compliance. She's going to go out in 5 days, or someone's going to go out in 5 days, and they're going to drive by, and that thing's not going to be there. And that'll be the end of it. But if it's there 5 days from now, then here's the carrot and the stick. Then there'll be a fine of $25 per day. But it's sold, and it's gone. So that's the order that I'll enter, and say that the reality is that you're in compliance, but it'll say 5 days to come into compliance or a fine of $25. So.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
That's all. Oh.
He does have a work truck and a pull-behind trailer that's an open bed. It's not enclosed. It's not the 25-foot trailer that we sold as of today that's been the ongoing problem. He does have, how many feet is it?
I'll be able to put that in the back.
Anyway, he does, we park because our driveway is at a very high slope. And it's difficult to back it up, which is what we discussed with the supervisor the very first time around when this became an initial problem. And we were parking it at the neighbor's house before someone bought that property and revenerated the house. We cannot go up that incline because it breaks the hitch. We're currently renting a smaller trailer. It's an open bed trailer. I want to say maybe, I don't know, 5-6 feet long. My husband parks at the end of the driveway. We are not in the right-of-way. He's in our lawn at the very end of the drive, parked horizontally, and I don't want that to become an issue because we are a one-income household. He is a small-time business owner, and we have to be able to make our living, and I don't think we should have to move or readjust our address to try to accommodate something that we do to support our living.
Well, that's where I'm going to have to disagree with you, because the reality is that there's a code in the City of Deltona that requires and it imposes restrictions, whether any of us in this room like it or not, on where you can park certain types of vehicles. And that code applies to everybody. It doesn't apply to just big property owners or small property owners or big business owners or small business owners. So what your husband has told me is that he's brought your property, your home into compliance, and I believe him. And I gave him 5 days to confirm that, and the staff will go out in 5 days and confirm that. And he said he understands the code, and that's great. So I'll send the order out, and you'll receive a copy of it. And thank you for being here tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next case is 641 East Normandy Boulevard, property owner Migdalis Salgado and Wilfredo Salgado. Case is designated as DEL 21040. This is Officer Brokoff, roof and disrepair. Please proceed.
My name is Steve Brokoff. I'm employed with the City of Deltona as an enforcement officer. This will be case number DEL 21-040, City of Deltona versus Migdalis Salgado and Wilfredo Salgado, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce those. Property address is 641 East Normandy Boulevard. Parcel ID is 813-0011-00120. This is City of Deltona Ordinance Section 18-5, which adopts the latest edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, Section 304.7, which states that roof and flashing shall be sound and tight and have no defects that admit rain. Statutory requirements of this notification of hearing been met by the notice of hearing and notice of code violation were sent certified mail to the property owner, the address list, and the proprietor's records. In addition, both notices were posted on the property and at City Hall at least 10 days before this hearing. All evidence in this case, including photographs, have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the code board clerk. I certify that all the photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed the day they were taken. This case began in March 29th, 2020. When I noticed tarps on the roof located at the address. Under the anti-blight ordinance that the city allows, tarps are allowed to be on the roof for 60 days. So at the end of the 60 days, on May 31st, 2020, I left a door hanger indicating the roof needed to be repaired or replaced. Mrs. Salgado responded very quickly on June 1st and then stated that they had submitted a claim to the insurance company. And I checked with the homeowner that it was in litigation. I checked with the homeowner again in September. They were still in litigation. October, they're still in litigation. Same thing in December. And at the end of December, December 30th, I actually received an email from an insurance adjuster that was in litigation with this. The communication with the homeowner has been excellent. The only problem the city has is the violation still continues, and now we're pushing basically a year, and we're concerned with the amount of time it takes to bring this particular property into compliance.
Okay, fair enough, but you waited this long, and I'm assuming the reason you waited this long is because they've convinced you that they're trying, but they can't get the money from their insurance company. So if I enter an order requiring them to fix the roof, that's probably not going to be something magical that'll get their insurance company to pay to fix the roof. So what is the city asking me to do?
Well, as the city would like a reasonable amount of time. At some point, the roof needs to be repaired, and then maybe they can still continue with their insurance company to get a claim. But the violation is the issue and the amount of time it takes.
Understood. All right. Is someone here for 641 East Normandy Boulevard, Salgados? And I apologize if I mispronounced your names. And if you could give me your names, please, and your address.
Wilfredo Salgado, 641 East Normandy Boulevard.
Migdalia Salgado.
Okay, what do you want me to hear, ma'am, or sir?
Well, we're still waiting on insurance and the lawyers. We got a letter from the lawyers that is still fighting with insurance. Last year, because of the pandemic, everything was hold up. They couldn't get in touch with insurance. When they finally get in touch with them, they start fighting.
So do you have an attorney representing you?
Yeah.
Has that attorney given you any indication of when you may be expecting to receive some funds from your insurance company?
No.
Is your attorney aware that you're here tonight before a code enforcement?
Yeah.
So your attorney is aware that an order could be entered requiring you to fix your roof within a certain limited period of time?
That I don't.
I mean, obviously.
We call him and we told him about the letter for today. So he sent it there in Miami. What they did is send out a letter just to let everybody know that, we're still fighting with insurance company.
Well, I've got a picture here, showing that you've got a tarp on your roof, and it looks like sandbags are holding it down.
Yes.
And the testimony I have is it's been that way for over a year now.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're pretty unhappy about that, too.
No.
And I don't want to order you to do something that you can't comply with, because it sounds like you have tried. I'm not sure. I mean, I get it. We want to make sure there's an incentive for these folks to get their roof fixed. I don't think. I'm looking for some suggestions. I'm not sure that these folks are the enemy.
So in this particular case, there's nobody that is the enemy. But
well, I'm using that as, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell them they've got to do something within 30 days, and they have zero control over getting that done.
I think 30 days is wait not long enough with dealing with the lawyers. But obviously something has to be done at some point. Maybe. I don't know what their income is. Maybe they could qualify for some kind of financing.
Let me go in that direction. Have you had a contractor out to give you an estimate of what it'll cost to fix the roof?
No, only the insurance. The adjuster came and checked everything, and then they start dealing with insurance.
So you yourself have not hired someone to come out and give you an estimate of what it'll cost to fix your roof?
Yeah, because they told me not to do nothing until they get everything done.
Have you received any indication at all from your attorney when you might receive an answer about when you'll get a check from the insurance company?
No. The last time we talked to them, they just give us a letter and says, he tell us again, because of the pandemic last year, everything slowed down. But he said it should be done this year.
I see you brought some documents with you this evening. Do you have recent correspondence from your attorney?
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask you to hand it to that gentleman right there, and so that I can look at it, please?
Dile que ellos siguen peleando.
I'm going to give this back to you, but I'm just trying to understand exactly what's going on here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, what you've handed me is a document that's called a complaint. That means that's the initial lawsuit that was brought in January of 2019 on your behalf by an attorney down in Coral Gables. That does not help me. I'm not being mean. It does not help me understand at all what kind of time frame it may be still before you're going to get assistance from your insurance company. It would have been great if I could have had a conversation with your attorney tonight. That would have been very helpful. So what I'm going to do is enter an order this evening that's going to give you 120 days to get that roof fixed, or a fine in the amount of $25 per day. And what I'm going to suggest that you do when you get a copy of that order, I would suggest that you send that to your attorney. And he's going to get in touch with this officer right here. And hopefully that'll wake your attorney up to realize that they need to get you something. Because it's been a year that you've been sitting with a tarp on your roof.
Yeah.
All right? And we're not trying to be the bad guys here, but maybe this order will help you get some people motivated that need to be motivated. Okay? So you're going to get a copy of this order in the mail, folks. And I can't tell you what to do because I'm not your lawyer. But my suggestion is that you might want to send a copy of that order to your lawyer and ask him to give you a call ASAP. That sound like a plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. Good luck. I know it's frustrating dealing with an insurance company sometimes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, sir. May I be excused? That was my only case.
You don't have any more cases?
No.
Oh, you don't want to stay?
No.
You're excused.
Thank you.
All right, the next case is DEL 21030, property address 618 Deltona Boulevard, property owner listed as Antonio and Migdalia Jimenez. Officer Muse.
Okay, my name's Dennis Muse. I'm employed by the City of Deltona as an enforcement service officer, and my credentials are on file with the city. Case number DEL 21-030, City of Deltona versus Antonio and Migdalia Jimenez, 618 Deltona Boulevard, parcel ID number 8036050101110. City of Deltona Ordinance, Section 18-3, adopting the latest edition of the Florida Building Code, Section 105.1, which states that any owner or authorized agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or to erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system, the installation of which is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be done, shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. In this particular offense, a permit must be applied. You must apply for a fence permit. The application be submitted to the City of Deltona, 2345 Providence Boulevard, and the structure must meet all requirements of the city ordinance and be approved on final inspection. The statutory requirements for the notification of this hearing have been met by a notice of hearing was sent certified mail 10 days prior to the hearing date and posted at the property address listed with the tax collector's office. The certified mail was delivered by USPS on 3/11/21. In addition, the notice of hearing was also posted at City Hall at least 10 days prior to the hearing. All the evidence in this case, including photos, have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the Code Board Clerk. And this particular case started back in December 27th of 20. I was at the property across the street. The property owner was extending the height of the fence at this property, 618 Deltona Boulevard, to 8 feet, which is not allowed by city ordinance. When I finally got a chance to talk to Mr. Jimenez, he basically insisted on the 8-foot fence for privacy and security for his property. I advised him to talk to my supervisor, Richard Lovett, but he felt he would only get the same answer. I did put him in touch with the supervisor of the permitting department, Danny Ron. Mr. Ron phoned Mr. Jimenez advising the 8-foot fence was not allowed per ordinance in the city. I advised Mr. Jimenez, since he took down the 8-foot slats, all he had to do was remove the extensions that were added, and that was the only thing that was left of the fence. And after he took them down, then there would be no violation. The city is asking for a fine of $25 per day if the extension is not removed within the week.
All right, so I have on my information that the violation is no permit.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm hearing you say is the violation is that the fence is too tall.
Yes, sir.
Are those not different things?
He didn't get a permit in order to put the fence up 8 foot. He would have been told at that point then that he could not get a permit.
So what does this property owner have to do to come into compliance?
The extension, he put his old fence back up, but he left the extensions so that if he was allowed to get put the 8-foot slats back on, that the extensions that he had left up there, all he had to do is cut them off, and it would be in compliance.
So it has
There'd
nothing
be-
to do with getting a permit.
The violation would be gone.
Wouldn't need a permit.
You wouldn't need a permit then.
Okay. He was cited for not having a permit, though.
Yes, sir.
So for compliance, he could either try to get a permit
Yes, sir.
or cut down the fence, in which case he won't need a permit.
Just the extension. He has his 6-foot fence back up, the original.
And that's fine.
That's fine.
All right.
But it's the extensions that he added, he still has on there that's still the.
Yeah, I've got the photo. I see it. Mr. Jimenez? If you could give me your name and your address, please, and I want to hear what you have to say.
My name is Antonio Jimenez, 618 Deltona Boulevard.
Okay. You heard the gentleman. What do you want me to hear?
All right, I bought the extension 8-footer. It's a 1x6 board. The old fence, it was there for 18, 19 years already, and it was old. Everything on the bottom was messed up. I bought an RV, and I put it in my backyard. So when I went to Home Depot, I saw the fence 8 foot, so I thought maybe protect for people jumping over my fence. I got robbed 3 times. I live right behind the I-4 ramp. I have a lot of panhandle, and people just jump in my fence, they sleep in my backyard, they drink my water and everything. So I put that to prevent, because my daughter sleep and my granddaughter live back there. So I'm trying to protect my family. So now, I took the fence, he demanded to take it off. I did. So I put the old fence back. But
And I
now,
think that's not the problem.
no, I put the old fence back. And I've got video showing the fence, the old fence, and I put it back.
Right.
Now, what he's saying now, that he wants me to cut down the 4x4. There's only 5 4x4s standing up 8 foot apart.
Okay?
So I don't know what really he wants, because I didn't really need a permit, because I didn't put a new fence. I took the old fence out, and I replaced it with a new one, because I put an RV back there, so I had to take it off. It was already broken.
Well, let me say it this way. The way I understand what's going on here tonight is that you may have an RV in your backyard. You're certainly entitled to have that. We're not here about the RV. And I'm very sorry that you have some issues with crime,
Yeah, we do a lot.
but that's not why we're here tonight either. What we're here about tonight is whether or not you got a permit to put up an 8-foot fence. And what I'm hearing is that if you had applied to get a permit for an 8-foot fence, you wouldn't get a permit for an 8-foot fence. And the reason is an 8-foot fence isn't permittable in the city of Deltona.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing the officer say is he got two options. You can go in and go through the exercise of futility of trying to get a permit for this 8-foot fence, and they're going to tell you no.
They already told me no.
That's right. Or you can cut down this fence so it's not 8 feet anymore. Now, I know you don't want to do that, but that's, unfortunately, my job is to be the messenger. So I think what happened is you spent some money, and you put in a fence that's tall, it's 8 feet, and it's not permitted by code.
Right, 6 feet, they told me.
That's right. So if you get it down to 6 feet, you're in compliance.
Okay.
And that's what I'm hearing tonight.
Okay, how long I got? Because he gave me only 10 days. There's nothing I could do in 10 days. I work a lot.
Well, how much time do you need?
You know, I need at least 30 days, 40 days that I could get it done because I got to take the old stuff out. I got to make some money to buy new fence to put it, and then it's going to take me a couple of days to put it on because I'm doing the work myself.
Okay, what does the city say?
For right now, if he just took down those extensions, I'd be happy.
If I do that, and I cut the wrong size, when I put the fence, I could cut it when the fence is already up, the new one. So he could inspect it. When the new one is done, that will give me a chance to cut it to a level that won't be
Well,
off-funded.
what we're talking about is how much time. That's where we are right now.
30 to 40 days at most.
What do you think?
30
I mean,
days.
that's only 1 month.
I can't go any more than 30 days. I think it's
All right, here's what we're going to do.
Priorities.
Here's what we're going to do. Look, I get it. We all make some mistakes sometimes and not realize we have to get permission before we do something. I'm guilty as charged too. But here we are, and you needed to get a permit, and now you learned that in order to get a permit, you put in something you shouldn't have put in. So I'm going to find that I'm going to give you 21 days. That's 3 weeks, sir.
Okay.
To bring the property into compliance. 3 weeks. I know you wanted a month, but I think 3 weeks is reasonable. Because we're not talking about a fence that's all around your backyard. It's just a couple panels.
Only 60 feet.
That's right. So I think 3 weeks can do it. So it's going to be 21 days to bring the property into compliance, sir, or a fine of $25 a day.
Okay.
All right? All right.
21 days, okay.
And I want to thank you for being here tonight and working with the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I have an apology. I missed Jason Peterson. Is he still here?
He left his stuff out there. I think he must have stepped out for a moment.
Okay. Could someone go, because that's my bad. I jumped ahead, and that was my mistake, so I apologize.
I'll check for sure.
And I don't want, I mean, he's been waiting, and it was his turn, and I missed him. Sorry to keep you waiting, ma'am. He's not out there? Okay, well, let's go ahead and go on with the next case then, because I don't want to keep two people waiting. Next case is, it's a Massey case. It's DEL 20-074. This is Officer Marion Quinones. No permit for porch. It's a Massey hearing. Property is addressed as 2271 Weatherford Drive. Property owner is the Emerson Family Revocable Trust. City ready to proceed?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, please do, ma'am.
This is in reference to 2271 Weatherford, DEL 20074, in reference to a porch that was added on without a permit. I was actually just told earlier today by our permitting department that the porch cannot be permitted. Because
So what does that mean?
it's possibly going to have to get tore down.
Well, this is a Massey hearing. So how many days do we have where the property has been in violation?
This, it was, you gave a 30-day timeframe, February 26th.
I'm sorry,
February 26th, you gave 30 days at $25 a day.
okay. I need to know, officer, you know, the nature of the violation is that there was a, as I understand it, there was a porch that constructed, they didn't get a permit for the porch, and now I'm hearing the city say that there's something about this porch where the city's not going to issue a permit.
Correct.
What that tells me is that someone tried to come in and get a permit.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about that.
She came in, she brought the survey in, according to the permitting administrator up front, and the way he explained it to me, it's on the easement, and I didn't have any of this for information prior to. So now that I've just learned this, I think that we're going to need to do something different with this case.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that in a second, but I do want to hear from the property owner. Ma'am, if you could come forward, tell me your name and your address, and tell me what your understanding is of our situation right now.
Anthony Emerson, 2271 Weatherford Drive. Well, I was here a couple times now.
Yep.
Every time I come, there's something that needs to be
We're getting to
added,
be
so
old friends.
It's taking a little while. So it's taking a little while, but the last time I was here with maybe, was it yesterday or the day before? And Milton has been really good. He's been trying to work with me. He's permanent over there. And the last thing was, when I brought the last piece of paperwork to get it permitted, I think it was a sketch, was the last piece, or drawing. And he said it looked at that time, even though I had two other people look at it before supervisors, but I guess they didn't look at the survey closely the first time I brought the survey. So when I came this last time, they said, oh, yeah, they were about to stamp it. And he looked at the survey and said, oh, it looks like it's, the fence is on an easement. So he was actually going to wait to talk to Richard, and I don't know what Richard's position is.
He's a supervisor.
Oh, supervisor. But Richard's out on vacation until Monday, so they were actually going to wait. So this is the first I heard that they won't issue the permit. Because as of
Okay.
yesterday's conversation, they were going to. So at this point, we're going to wait for Richard. And worst case scenario is to bring the fence back in. So I don't know what we have to do now. Do we bring the fence back in and then the porch
Okay.
will be in compliance, or
I get
don't
it.
know.
I've heard enough. Here's what we're going to do. And officer, you were put in a tough spot tonight because you're telling me what someone else told you.
Yes, sir.
In my line of work, that's called hearsay. And I'm not supposed to rely on hearsay in doing these types of proceedings unless it's cumulative or in support of other evidence, and I just don't have that this evening. And what I just heard from this young lady is that she came in, she's trying, a little bit late, but she's trying, okay? But it sounds like there's something going on in the planning department. They're trying to help her, but they may not be able to. So I'm going to continue this case for 30 days.
Yes.
But what I'm going to have to ask you, ma'am, is that there's already been an order of violation, and,
Right,
and the clock is running.
Right, yeah, and I actually had, just as a backup, I already contacted the fence company yesterday as I was walking out to, if a worst-case scenario, the supervisor stays on Monday when he gets back, hey, if you want to keep the porch, you got to bring the fence back
Right,
in. So I
right.
already contacted the fence
I'd
company.
rather you
to do
spend the
that.
money getting the violation corrected than imposing a fine on you.
Right,
Because the fine's running. We're not going to necessarily hit you hard with it, but I just want to make sure you understand this process has been moving along so that the time frame's already passed.
so Monday I should know what to do when he gets back.
Monday or whenever this gentleman comes back, you get right in there, get your little ticket, get in the front of the line, you know, and I think the officer, she's a nice lady. She's going to,
yeah.
she'll make sure she is. She'll
been
make sure that
awesome.
she helps.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure what Richard Levitt's going to do. It's going to be up to Carl Lynch, who's the building official. He's going to have to decide on how they're going to move forward with this because there are quite a few different things
And I
here in
get
play.
that, but the people you just named,
Yeah.
they're not here tonight.
No, they're not. Because I just literally found this out.
And so with all due respect, I
Just like
really
she
can't
found
listen
out,
to
I
what
just
you're
found out.
saying. And what she's saying is that she's got to come back in Monday and get with these people that aren't here tonight.
Okay.
Okay? That's why I'm continuing it for 30 days. Let's get this straightened out.
Right.
Get your permit or not.
Right.
Come back and we'll work
Yeah.
through what's necessary from my end, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Be safe.
Have a good night.
Okay. Now, Mr. Peterson, I apologize. No, I skipped right over you. That was my fault, so I'm sorry to keep you waiting. So we've got Jason Peterson. I've got two cases. One's withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
So the no permit for shed's been withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the city wants to proceed on the other case, which is DEL 21016, which is a permit for a driveway.
Yes.
Okay, city ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Okay. My name is Marian Quinones. I'm employed with the City of Deltona as an enforcement officer. This is in reference to case DEL 21-016, City of Deltona versus Jason Peterson. Property address is 2328 Brimhall Court, Deltona, Florida. Parcel ID is 813-041-090-380. This is in violation of City of Deltona Ordinance Section 18-3, adopting the latest edition of the Florida Building Code, Section 105.1, which states that the owner, authorized agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolish, or change the occupancy of a building or structure, or to erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system, the installation of which is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be done, shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. The statutory requirements for this notification of this hearing have been met by notice of hearing and notice of violation were sent certified mail to the property owner at the address listed with the property appraiser records and were posted on the property 10 days prior to the hearing. All evidence in this case, including the photographs, have been marked as exhibits and submitted to the code board clerk. I certify any and all photographs to be true and accurate portrayals of what I observed on the day they were taken. He's got a driveway, Millings driveway, that was unpermitted. However, it's a vacant lot. And the driveway, it can't be there at an unimproved lot. So it just needs to be removed.
So we're not here on the shed,
No,
same property.
shed's been removed.
Shed's been removed.
Yes,
Okay. So, as I understand it, the property owner had a vacant lot, they put a shed on the vacant lot, and they put a driveway in the vacant lot.
yes, sir.
And the code violation is they didn't get a permit for the driveway, but they're not going to be able to get a permit for the driveway.
Correct.
Okay?
From what
and-
I've understand from the permitting, yes.
Okay. So what does this property owner have to do to come into compliance?
I guess remove the Millings driveway, or I think I had talked to him in the past, and he had mentioned about wanting to build a house on that property, but I don't know the time frame of that.
Okay. Well, let's hear from Mr. Peterson.
Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jason Peterson.
Okay. What do you want me to hear today, Mr. Peterson?
When I bought the property 2 years ago, the property had trees aligned on both sides on the property line. There was 20-inch oak trees with me and the neighbor. The neighbor cut them down. You can still see the stumps there in his yard. 3 of them that were about 22 inches in diameter. I'm a landscape architect, so I know about these things. He took the trees and pushed them into my yard where the driveway is now. So I had to bring in a bobcat and a roll-off dumpster and have those trees removed. And when I did, there was no other way but to drive there to get those trees out of there that he pushed into my yard. And so when I was done, it was either leave it dirt or cover up the dirt with some gravel that's not a poured driveway. It's millings from asphalt. It's like gravel. So that's what I did. I put that in, and they said they wanted the shed gone, so I took the shed out right away, and just trying to get in compliance.
Sure.
It's going to be a lot of work to move all that millings out of there. I mean, I could dig a hole there and put them in it if that's what you guys want. When I bought the property was a fire hazard. You could have flicked a cigarette in the yard, and because of the slope of the incline, you would have had a fire there within a matter of minutes. And I would hate to see for it to go back to that state. I don't have a house there on my property. It has an address, but it doesn't have a house. But I would hate to see my neighbor's house burned down because of that, you know. So I was trying to clean it up.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any dispute over that. The problem is that, as I understand, it's been expressed to me under the code, in the city of Deltona, if you're going to build something, you've got to have a permit, and if you're going to build a driveway, it's got to be on a lot that's going to have a structure on it.
Right.
So that now there's the catch-22.
Sure.
Okay, so you've got a driveway on a lot that's essentially a vacant lot.
Yes, sir.
So you need to get a permit for that driveway. Well, they're not going to give you a permit for the driveway.
Okay.
I mean, I'm speaking the obvious because it's a vacant lot.
just
So
need to know what I
it's a
need to do.
chicken and the egg type of thing. And I'm not sure I've got an answer for you, other than what we talked about before this evening. You know, if you go and you spend a lot of money, you do a lot of work, and it's good work, and it helps the lot, but it's not consistent with code.
Yeah, I paid $3,000 for the driveway.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it a bit. And so, don't get me wrong, it hurts me to say this, but that's not consistent with the code.
And to my defense, you know, I own, this isn't the only property I own in Volusia County. There's other properties I have that I've done the same thing to, and I've never had any problems in the past.
Well, I can only address what's going on in the city of
Sure,
Deltona.
absolutely.
So I can't, I'm not necessarily persuaded that there are other jurisdictions that treat this type of situation differently. Mr. Peterson, you know, I'm looking for a practical solution that can work for you and can work for the code.
Me too.
Because again, my sole job is to make sure that we come up with a solution that you can live with, but that the city of Deltona can live with for code compliance. So,
It was my intention to build there as of last year, as of last November. I didn't realize what was going to be going on in the country with the COVID and all these slowdowns.
sure.
And I've decided to not do it right at this point. So that's, you know, that's where I'm at with it.
But what I'm unfortunately coming to the conclusion is that, you know, because I don't want to fine you, but we've got no other option other than trying to get that driveway removed, I guess. And what's a reasonable period of time for you to be able to go out there and remove something you put in? I hate to say it, but that's the, I always try to figure out what's the solution and
Right.
what's for code compliance.
So in order to bring it back to the way it was, I would have to have a bunch of dead trees brought into the property.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, that's not really fair either. I'll ask the city code officer, what would this gentleman have to do to bring the property back into compliance? Not bring back all the dead trees, right?
Correct.
Right, okay. So we're not going there.
Right.
But what would he have to do?
It's the driveway. It needs to be removed and brought back to the natural state of the unimproved lot.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you'd have to bring it back. In other words, you take the gravel out, and then you're going to probably have to not sod it, but sprig it or put seed over it or something like that, so it's a vacant lot again.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, all right. So what are we looking at? What's a reasonable period of time to accomplish that task? What's the city say?
I'd say 30 days is fine.
There's no way I can do that. I'm having my tooth pulled next week. I'm not even going to be able to stand for a week.
All right, well.
And I need at least 90 days.
Okay, I think 30's, I'm going to say 60 days.
Okay.
Okay, 60 days. And let's be clear about what we've got to do in 60 days. You've got to get that driveway out of there and make it look like it's grass again, like it's a vacant lot. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
or a fine of $25 per day? And I don't want to do the fine. It's not why we're here.
No,
Okay.
I'm just
All
trying
right.
to do it right.
All right.
and
Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
Okay. Look forward to you being able to get into compliance.
Okay.
Okay,
Do I need
thank you, sir.
paperwork?
We're done.
I don't need any paperwork.
We're going to do an order and we'll send it to you. You'll
Okay.
get it in the mail.
Great.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think that's it. Let me look real quick. I don't want to let anybody go home. I think we're done. Okay. City, have anything further? Very good. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, for helping me tonight, and we'll see you, I guess, next month. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.